when you do things that are hard, specifically scary, and we all know what those are, we try to pretend like we're not afraid, but we're always afraid of something. And it could be success that scares you. A lot of people actually hold back because they think they want success. But along with that success, especially in music, comes doing things you don't want to do. And you're going to have to do them. You're going to have to do them every day when you're tired, when you're sleepy, when you'd rather go hang out with your friends, when you have other plans you want to do, go on vacation, you want to just have an easy day, take the day off. The more successful you get, the more you can't do what you want to do, and there will be multiple things that you will have to do that's part of what you love doing in music, but there's all these things you won't love that you're going to have to do. And this kind of also echoes some of the things I was saying about how for a career in music today, you better get comfortable doing things you might not have considered are part of being a musician today, because maybe they weren't part of it 20, 30 years ago. But today is a different world. And all the famous musicians, whether you realize it or not, have had to do things they didn't want to do. And if it was long enough ago, it's not the same things. So you may follow bands and artists that don't have to do what I explained everyone has to do today, because they probably didn't come up today in this modern, era of, you don't need a record label. You could be your own promoter. You could be if you put out enough content, if you're interesting enough. That doesn't make you a content creator. That makes you someone who's so desperate to be in music that you do anything. So driven to be in music, so much desire that you will do anything. This is the kind of person who wins, the kind of person who picks and chooses what they will do and what's outside of their, I don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable promoting myself. I'm not comfortable being on camera. I'm not comfortable, acting a fool. I'm going to come off looking stupid. I'm going to come off sounding bad. Anybody who thinks this way and has all these excuses basically built in for why that's not how you do it, they're the ones that have lost already. You got to get rid of that mindset if you have any shot at getting there, because getting comfortable doing what you don't want to do might allow you to do what you want to do. And I say might because there's no guarantees in life. None. So if you do more work than everybody else, you have a better shot. If you do the stuff nobody else wants to do, you have a better shot. If you think that you can make it the way it was made 20 years ago, 30 years, when nobody was doing this content creation everyday kind of stuff, it's not the way it works anymore. The world evolves and changes. AI makes music now. So you think you're going to compete with these people by just going out and touring for who? Who's going to come see you? You think people who come see bands give a crap about that band unless there's something that tells them they should? Most people, not so much. Fans could stand there and look at you with a blank face, and they won't know whether to like you or not, or they might like you in the moment, and then they go home and they forget all about you, because it takes seeing somebody multiple times, repeatedly, to get ingrained in their head. That's why content creation is good for musicians. Taylor Swift is a content creator. Rick Beato talked about it. These artists that are big are also content creators. There's a lot of them. And I wouldn't even know about a couple of these bands that are really great if they weren't content creators, because they're on my feed making great stuff musically. So I'm like, wow, who is that? But my point is, without that, you wouldn't even know of them. But in order to do that, they have to be willing to suck up the fear and be in front of people, maybe embarrassing themselves accidentally, because it happens in life. If you film enough, you might actually, mess a sentence up. You might double talk. You might do ridiculous things. You might fall on your face. But that's actually who you are. You don't have to shelter the image. Don't try to control people's perception of you. Just be you. That's your best shot. Be not afraid to fail and be doing the scary things. This is where this comes into. There's obviously things everybody's scared of and doesn't want to do. That's the stuff you should be doing, because every time you do one of those things, you get a reward that's so much greater than anybody could ever give you for any sort of praise. You can't be doing it for the praise. And when you go play live shows, I like, in my opinion, the rooms are empty until they're not, and they're only not when there's a reason to come see you, when you have offered enough value. And this doesn't come from playing a certain amount of shows. You would have to get extremely lucky to be able to capture enough people's attention at every show. When you play enough shows, you'll find that some of them are empty, some of them there's people. Depending on where you go, you can't play more than, you can't play so close together in the same area because nobody comes out to see you like that. People have this so wrong. They think they could just go out and tour and people will be there automatically. They will show up. Why? What's going to make them come see you? You have to prove you're worthy of going to be seen. And this comes with doing stuff you don't want to do. It doesn't come from just making music in the studio and putting it out and not being willing to do everything in your power in order to get seen. And this was always the case, even before social media and all this stuff. Why do you think bands went out of their way to look like a unit? Why do you think they wanted to all dress up as a unit? Or do you think they did it because now the fans will look at this band and say, that's a band that's a unit? They realize that there's a benefit to that. The audience actually responds to it better. When people are more energetic on stage, the audience responds to it. So people were doing everything they could in order to get seen and get noticed way before social media. So now that you can get seen and get noticed by millions of people overnight, if you use social media, you think that's a bad thing? Like, it's not a bad thing, and it doesn't make you a content creator. It makes you somebody who might deserve to make it. That's what it makes you. Because if you can do the things that nobody else is willing to do, because it's too hard and it's too much work and it's outside of everyone's comfort zone, you'll actually get somewhere. If you think you could pick and choose the things you want to do because you're the favorite artist you follow, don't do these certain things, then do you really, I don't think you deserve to make it. Do you really want it? If you really want it enough, you'll do everything. The people who want it more than anything do everything. And I'm not saying sell your soul, and I'm not saying, do ridiculous stunts to get attention that will cause you harm or damage any public property or anything ridiculous. What I'm saying is be fearless within yourself to be able to push through the moments you don't want to do. The moments are too hard, too scary, whatever they are, because in doing those, you will get so much from it. Every single thing. In other words, if you have a fear of playing your music live in front of people on camera, then you should start that live feed and do that. Because just doing that once, no matter how it goes, even if it's a disaster, you will feel great afterwards compared to the way you feel now by being scared of something and letting that run what you actually do and letting it control what you actually do. Before I started making videos for everyone, I had a lot of fears about the fact that it took me so long to learn this stuff. And a lot of stuff that I learned, I actually, was taught from some different people. And am I betraying these people? And is it like a magician's secret to hold things back and not tell people the way to make their songs great? Is it something that that these people that taught me will feel bad about? Should I feel I had all these inner fears about, am I doing the right thing? Giving away all the stuff I know? Is it the right move? Also, I'm worried that I'm not going to sound like some of these people who sound like professors. And is that going to come across weird? You have to get rid of this stuff. As soon as I got rid of that, it actually allowed me to break through to a lot of people, way more than if I were to be just scared about and keep all these fears about what could happen and people not receiving it well, and anybody that ever taught me anything being mad at me, just having these ridiculous fears that aren't grounded in truth. It's not like anybody said that this was the case. Your mind will just invent fears. And the weird thing is, the more creative you are, the more your mind will invent ridiculous fears, and you'll come up with logical reasons why they're true. Like, you have logically reasoned out that you shouldn't need to do something, like make videos or put yourself out there all the time, because then you'll be a content creator, and that's not what a musician does. You've logically reasoned this stuff out, and if you do that, you'll just be known for being a content creator and not doing the actual thing you want to do. So that's a bad move. You've logically reasoned yourself out of a successful career, is what you've done, because you don't know where it could go and what could happen and who could see you and what it could turn into. You have no idea if you'll be well received or not, if you've never done it. But by having those fears and never doing it, you're just preventing anything good from happening. So my opinion is, actually do more, do a lot. Do as much as you possibly can, because you only got so much time on this world. Like, in this world, in this life, we only got a fixed amount of time. How much time do you want to waste holding on to the fears of what you won't do? How much time do you want to waste thinking, I won't do all these things, and then later wish you did? How many more things you want to quit before you actually ever did it enough to succeed? Because that's the other thing. You can't expect success from just doing what you only want to do. And that could be only playing shows, only recording music, and only putting that out. And if no one sees it, no one sees it. You may be fine with that now, but 20, 30, 40 years from now, if you happen to live that long, you won't be fine with the results of that if it got you nowhere. Whereas if you tried everything you could possibly try, and you lived on the edge of your comfort zone in fear, you lived where it was scary, you kept pushing yourself to do the scary things, you won't feel bad 30, 40, 50 years from now, no matter what happens. You'll just be somebody who lived their life. Because that's the other thing. A lot of people, they work and they work and they work trying to get somewhere that because they think success will make them happy. You need to enjoy what you're doing, even if it's stuff you hate doing. You need to enjoy the idea that if you keep doing this, that something good could come around the corner. So just stop looking at it like something you don't like doing. Change the way you look at it. Like, this is just what you do now. So now that you're doing this, you might as well enjoy it. Might as well become part of your routine. You might as well push a little harder today. Do something a little scarier than you did yesterday. Get on the edge of that comfort zone. If there's a genre you don't work in it. Try it. See what happens. If there's stuff you don't like doing, like being on camera, put yourself on camera. If you don't like, speaking to people, you better speak to a lot of people. I want you calling anybody on the phone that you wouldn't have talked to. You call them up today. Just speak. There's no excuses here at all for whatever you want to do. If you want to be someone who writes music for a living and that's your goal, then write a song, as many as you can in as short a time as you can, and put them all out. Put them all out. And if you don't know how to mix or master, then hire somebody who will do that, or just do it yourself, even if the results aren't great, and just see what happens. Don't be scared that you'll ruin your chance, because you got no chance by not trying. Your chances are zero. Goose egg, nothing. That's what you got. If you come up with all these reasons why you shouldn't do, because you're scared, you don't want to, you don't like this, you don't like that, take what you like and don't like, throw it out the window. Because if you don't, you're throwing your life out the window. That's what you're doing. Whereas nobody's ever died from having these fears of not wanting to do certain things and then doing them. No one's ever died from that. In other words, you're afraid of the perception, this and that. It's not going to kill you. You're afraid of public humiliation. You're afraid of it being embarrassed. It's not going to kill you. You understand? But you know what will eat you up, what will make you hate yourself and your life and everyone in it? You never even trying. That's what will. So I know this better than anyone. I was extremely depressed for a long, long, long time. And I had to really basically just embrace myself. And whatever that meant, and whatever I have to say, and however it comes out, and just say what I want to say, and the feelings, the emotion. I just had to, this is me. You can't fake this. 220 something, I don't know how many videos, but it's over 200. Point is, you can't fake this. This is just who I am. And you're who you are. And nobody's going to know what that is unless you just start doing something. And the more you get out of your comfort zone, the better. That's why I plan on doing a whole bunch of different kind of videos soon that I don't typically do, just because I'm trying to just expand. I'm trying to push the limits of what I'm comfortable with every day. So that comes with showing you guys a little more than maybe I've shown you already. So that's my plan. That's the goal. And, stay tuned for that. But I want to know what's going on with you, because anybody who's got these fears, even talking about them, just putting it out there is going to help you a lot. So why don't you just do that? Throw something in the comments that's going to help you, because you're scared of it now and you're going to do it and it won't be scary tomorrow. And if you've done things like this, that you just let me know what they are. You were scared of this, then you did this, because other people are going to read that and they're going to maybe have the same fear, because it's very common. Us creative people have all the same fears. It's all the same. I know so many talented people that are so good at their instrument, but they have these blocks in their head of what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. And that is literally preventing them from being discovered by the world. Because it's not about a record company. They don't have to ordain you now as somebody who's great. People will find greatness if you put it out there enough. So if you're truly great, if you really are that great, you will be found if you put yourself out there. If you never put yourself out there, you've got no chance. So for all of you out there who could be amazing but are scared and aren't willing to do everything, this is your chance. Be willing to do everything, because you got one life. That's all you got. So make the most of it. All right? Subscribe if you haven't already. More of this stuff coming, and other stuff. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Take it easy.